goodness, what was that?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Independent Truckers at the Truckers Independent Broadcasting Network with your hosts, John Grosvenor, Sean Mitchell, and we got the lovely Miss TJ with us today.
Hey, guys, how's it going out there? Is Sean with us, or did he get dropped off?
I'm here.
All right, he's here.
Wow, that was nice and loud.
Yeah, he's been a little in and out here trying to get connected. Sean is on the move tonight, so we're going to see how this goes with him.
That's so hard.
Let's see. Today is daylight savings time.
Cluck, chicken truck.
Yeah, right. So if you haven't set your clocks yet, set them forward. You might want to make sure you've got that done because you don't want to be late for delivery first thing Monday morning. That would be embarrassing.
Oh,
Oh, God forbid Kroger not have all their chicken.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be late tomorrow. You know that.
All right. There goes your excuse. You've been told.
Everybody's going to be late. It's just one of those things, and it's Monday to boot. I'd rather keep this time all the time. I don't like changing it back. I just rather have the light all the time. Whoops. When you're sharing out sometimes, it drives you nuts. It does. It drives me crazy.
DJ's trying to share out and talk at the same time. Well, that does confuse you.
I get a lot of private emails. Can you make sure you send me the show? Send me the show. Send me the show. And I want it's on at the same time on Sunday nights and Wednesdays, especially the Common Sense Conservatives. I get so many emails on that. I'm like, okay, just bear with me. It's always on the same time. We're always on Sunday nights at 6:00. And then the Common Sense Conservatives is at 7 o'clock on Wednesday nights. And right before us, you can catch Todd
McKinley.
Todd McKinley. I couldn't. So it's guys, just turn on your radios. That's the kind of mood I'm in tonight. I've been in a mood all day.
All right. So St. Patrick's Day is coming up this week. It is Thursday, March 17th. Is St. Patrick's Day.
Well, I hope you went out and bought all your fixins. I bought them, and they went up. It's twice as much this year as it was last year. I just don't understand that.
Do they make corned beef in the way of beef jerky or anything for truck drivers while they're driving down the road?
Beef jerky? Oh, who eats that stuff?
Yeah, I don't think that'd be too good. But
you got to get your corned beef and cabbage if you're Irish. But, Irish people really don't eat corned beef and cabbage. They don't eat that in Ireland.
Well, that's an American thing.
That is an American thing.
Just like
but we all love it. I love it.
A lot of the Mexican seasonings we use, a lot of Mexicans don't use those things. But St. Patrick lived during the 5th century as a patron saint of Ireland and its national apostle. Born in Roman Britain, he was kidnapped and brought to Ireland as a slave at the age of 16. Imagine that they had slaves way back then. Who would have thought? He later escaped but returned to Ireland and was credited with bringing Christianity to its people. In the centuries following Patrick's death, believed to have been on March 17, 461, the mythology surrounding his life became ever more ingrained in the Irish culture. Perhaps the most well-known legend of St. Patrick is that he explained the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, using 3 leaves of a native Irish clover, the shamrock.
Yeah,
that's kind of an interesting take on it, right?
Yeah.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, it is.
So St. Patrick's Day is celebrated annually on March 17th, the anniversary of his death in 5th century. The Irish have observed this day as a religious holiday for over 1,000 years. On St. Patrick's Day, which falls during the Christian season of Lent, Irish families would traditionally attend church in the morning and celebrate in the afternoon. Lenten prohibitions against the consumption of meat were waived, and people would dance, drink, and feast on the traditional meal of Irish bacon and cabbage. There you go, Tracy, Irish bacon.
Irish bacon.
So in America, it's known to be a day of exercise your non-prohibition right to get totally wasted and no need to be Irish. So celebrate heartily, my friends.
Is that what it is? We can all get wasted on that one day?
I see it all. I see people get hit in the streets, man. Everybody's running to the bar. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
So, Tracy, what did you want to talk? You had something about fuel issues on your mind.
Yeah, I was. I don't know how many of the drivers get a chance to watch C-SPAN, but it was kind of irritating me because I have been watching C-SPAN almost every single day, and I'm watching all the local news channels all along the East Coast. Only twice this week they've mentioned the truckers' convoy, in a tiny little 15-second blip, not even 15 seconds. Okay, all they say is they're still in Hagerstown and they're still doing their little ride around. I am absolutely appalled at that because it's not. This is your senators and your representatives. If you go to C-SPAN, you can see everything they're voting on and everything they're talking about. And what really made me kind of angry is when I heard Democrat Edward Markey out of Massachusetts. Now, he's been in the Senate for a really long time because when I lived in Massachusetts, he was a senator then. And that was almost 35 years ago. What bothered me the most is he says that the Republicans are feeding the Americans a bunch of crap. He didn't say crap. I'm just going to put the way I'm going to say it quickly.
It's okay to ad-lib a little.
He said that they're telling us lies. Those Republicans lie because, drilling for oil in our country is terrible. We really don't have enough, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm listening to him go on about this, and I'm thinking, oh, my God, this guy is such an ass. I mean, stop feeding the American people your bullshit and start helping the American people. That's what you're paid for.
How many barrels a day do you think we export out of this country?
Oh, yeah, really. It's not even so much.
I got the facts right here. It's 8.63 billion barrels of oil a day that we export, while yet we import 8.47 billion barrels a day.
They're trying to appropriate more money for drilling, but not for Americans. They want to give money overseas to help those people drilling overseas. So I guess drilling overseas for oil and then shipping it in huge oil tanks back to America, yeah, that's the way to go, and we have it right here. Yep, taxpayers, that's where your money is. So my point to this is, with the truckers' convoy, gas is going up. They're still in D.C. It's going to get higher in D.C. They're expecting within the next 30 days it should go to $7 a gallon down there. So, but anyways, people, if you're sitting in your cars in D.C., call your states. Call your governor. Call anybody that you can to stop this malarkey. It's the only way. Nobody. I can remember times when John and his people went and saw Cruz. Yep, that worked out real well. I think truckers have seen Cruz a lot of times, and I'm glad that Cruz goes out and talk to truckers. But it's been a week now, almost a week.
No, he saw him last week. Yeah, probably about
almost a week.
Ago, something like that.
Not one thing has been brought up in Congress. Not one thing has been brought up in the Senate.
He told him. Well, let's talk about oil for a second here, because the general consensus about oil, guys, is that we develop what's called a sweet crude. It's a lighter oil than what we import. So supposedly that's why we export our oil, because we're not outfitted to process the oil that we produce here in the United States, which I find is interesting because up until 2015, we weren't allowed to drill in the United States. Eisenhower in 1959, I think it was, had put a ban on exporting and importing, where you can only import 9% of the nation's oil, and we were using the remainder. We were pulling out of the ground. We were using our own oil. Now they're saying, well, we can't do that because it's too light of an oil and we can't process it, refine it. I think what it really comes down to is we make more money by shipping it out of the country than we do from the and it's cheaper to import it in to the country. So I think it has to do with a money game more than anything. And by the way, we only use about 8% of our oil is from Russia. Canada provides about 51%, believe it or not. They're trying to shut down the Canadian pipelines.
Yep.
Go figure that one out. How's that helping trucking industry? How is that helping people on America's roads today? It's not. Well,
we listened to those people, the some people from Ottawa today, and they're telling you why. If they can shut everything down, the government takes control, and the people lose their sovereignty. And I think most people don't understand that Canada has a young constitution. It was not set up. They were sovereigns to the Queen. So now they're trying. They broke away. Was it been 20 years? Maybe 25 years?
No, it's been more than that. They 1980s.
1980s.
They enacted
okay.
their constitution somewhere between 82 and
But
86.
still,
I can't remember exactly.
That's
when
a
it went
young
into
country.
effect.
That's very young.
No, it is. That's an infant. That's a baby country
Yeah,
right there.
so they're still trying to swim their way out of things. So
even the United States at 240 something years, that's young.
it is young, and we still have a lot of things to work out. But it's just like like the Canadians had said. They have to get their houses to vote for the people. That's the problem we have in America. We have the same problem as the Canadians. We need our senators and our representatives in Congress to remember who they work for. When you make $179,000 a year, you need to work for the people that are paying that. And I had just read an article about the Squad. We all know who the Squad is, AOC, Talbot, and all those. How much they keep saying that they want to defund the police. Each one of those ladies is having the government, our government, you and I, which is the government, paying for their private security. How do you like that? They're not putting that out there, are they?
I also think it's funny because, as they're talking about defunding the police and they cater to BLM on that one, I was reading through the appropriations bill here recently. It looks to me like they're offering more funding for police.
Yeah. But they're out there telling people that. Yes, I know. It's mind-boggling.
No, that doesn't bar the idea that they may be offering more funding for purposes of mental health or whatever and all the other BS.
Well, let me tell you something. If somebody is having a psychotic breakdown, you really think a social worker or a psychologist is going to be able to talk that person down? No, they need to subdue him and bring him into a hospital. But if he's pulling a gun on you and he's going to shoot you, well, what are you going to do? Sorry, we'll just leave you alone for a while. I don't know. I don't get their reasoning for any of this.
It didn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense to me at all.
It really doesn't.
I mean, I watch kids have stuff going on all the time, and it's really tough. But that's what made me mad about this whole gas thing, and I hope the convoy is doing better, but there hasn't been too much out there.
The convoy right now is just in a lull, as far as I can tell. From my understanding, and they're not giving out any details, but they will be on the move tomorrow. I'm not sure what they're doing, but they got something going on. They got something cooking and brewing. In the meantime, they were doing things like taking in some food donations and just little things that they could do over the weekend.
A lot of complaints that I get, people send me messages, is they still want to know the end game. They still want to know what's going on. They really, that there's a couple of people. There's one woman who keeps texting me, well, you need to be there. Unfortunately, I am still suffering from long COVID. I have to tell you, it's absolutely miserable. But I'm just one of those people. In fact, last Thursday and Friday, my union was there, and everything that they wanted, they got. They had committees before Congress, but we do things differently than the trucking realm. And I'm going to say realm because there's so many people. It just doesn't incorporate,
The trucking industry, yeah.
And the thing is, it takes a while, but we kind of we always kind of all stick up for each other. We talk to the AFT members in California. We talk to all the state members. We talk to everybody to see what's going on with them and what they need, what's happening for them, and I think that's why we get a lot done. So it's called unity.
You brought up Cruz earlier, and we did meet Cruz in 2018.
Oh,
and what I heard him say at the meeting that they had last week was about what we heard in 2018.
Yep.
What he said to us was, folks, I'm one member of Congress. There's nothing, I can only do so much. If you want to get rid of this electronic logging device, I probably won't be able to get it for you, but I'll be glad to try and help. But he said, what else you got? And that was the biggest thing right there is he's basically saying, that's nothing I can do for you, but if you have something else I can help you with, I'd be glad to get on board with it. And so you need a contingency when you're dealing with these guys because you may not be getting exactly what you want, but there are a lot of issues on the table that we could be talking about other than just a bunch of mandates that only one of them actually exists anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
While at the same time, everything's being rescinded. Although there is that question, why did Biden renew the emergency powers if COVID's coming to an end?
I really want to know who's running. We all know that so far the word is out that Obama's the one who's running everything. So, and he's got his hands in so many pies.
Well, Sean had some Obama news today.
You did? What's up, Sean?
Oh, Obama has COVID.
Oh, yeah, I knew that, yeah.
Obama's got COVID. He ain't running nothing.
You mean he didn't get that from his party? His big elitist party that he had? Then all of us had to stay home and wear masks, and we weren't allowed to go anywhere, but he had his big party on Cape Cod. Even the people on Cape Cod couldn't go out. You didn't know about that? Is he still there?
Well, that's what happens when you get caught from California and eating her ice cream.
I think Sean's having a little bit of connection issue.
I think he is too.
But that's unfortunate because
I said that's what you get for kissing someone who offers you ice cream.
Oh.
Oh, it takes a lot more than ice cream for me, baby. Just remember that.
Yeah, I got the reference.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure
no,
why.
Wasn't it funny how when Biden was vice president, they wouldn't allow him to do any talking at all? And actually, they still don't let him do any talking at all. Hi, Monkey Murray. How are you doing? Renee and Nikki. Are any of you guys down at the convoy? Nikki, are you down there? Does anybody from the convoy give us a call to let us know what's really happening? If you're out there listening, give us a buzz or send me a text.
You mean call in?
Call in because I would really like to know.
I
just think it's
551-241-6957, guys. It's in the description.
I just feel really bad that no local news is carrying anything. And I was surprised because I'm watching the Washington.
Oh, there's a news. Yeah, there's news carrying out there. We're going to talk about that later.
There's nothing up here. There's nothing in New York. There's nothing up here at all.
That's what you call a segue, Sean. She was segueing that right into you, man.
Yep. Go for it.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're going to talk about that a little later tonight.
Well, okay. What else was frustrating this week?
It doesn't have to be frustrating. What was exciting? Anything exciting happening, guys?
I got to tell you, it was a frustrating week. If I have to see snow and rain and ice and wind, this is March. You're
preaching to the choir. By the way, spring does come next Sunday, the 20th.
What happened to my thing here?
I don't know what you do. You unplug your...
I didn't touch anything. Boy, oh boy. I don't know.
Breaking up the joint?
I don't know. I'll tell you that I'm sick of all the COVID stuff. When I went back to school last week, because I can only work 5 hours a day, more kids had masks on, and it's funny because they walk down the hall now, they don't have their mask on appropriately. They go, "Oh, see, Mrs. G, now you can't dress code me because we don't have to wear masks." I'm like, oh my God, help us. How much do we have to take?
Hey, Mona Beetle. It's been a while since we've seen you. I hope you're doing well.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Christy Parsons, why don't you come on and tell us what's happening? I haven't talked to her. Well, I've talked to her, but not in a while.
So, Sean, did you want to get on your subject matter, or do you want me to move on to parking issues?
Well, let's go ahead and go with the parking issues, and then we'll get on to the other one.
All right, so reading the appropriations, was it Consolidated Appropriations Act, which is the omnibus bill that you guys been hearing about. And for transportation, you see the National Infrastructure Investments, Essential Air Service, Federal Aviation Administration, Federal Highway Administration, Federal Railroad Administration, Federal Transit Administration, Maritime Administration. And reading through it, I could find nothing there for parking.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Another bill in which they negated to put any parking in there for big trucks. So, Secretary Pete Buttigieg says he's going to help us all find... help us create more parking spaces and make things better for the trucking industry. And I think he's just talking about his hind end, to be honest with you. But reading through that bill, hang on a second. We'll go back with the ATA know why to have requested Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg to use Infrastructure Investments and Jobs Act funds to boost the nation's truck parking capacity. Now, we know for over 20 years of studies and awareness have yielded nothing for greater parking for trucks. 98% of drivers regularly experience problems finding safe parking. This is all coming from OOIDA and the ATA. Lack of truck parking spaces creates more stress, ill health, fatigue, reduces road safety, impacts supply chains, and adversely affects our economy. There's about one parking space per 11 truckers.
Woo!
So
Hey,
trucking.
did you see those signs down south about parking?
Those are ridiculous. They spend millions of dollars on signs to tell you how many parking spaces you have at the next rest area, as if you weren't going to find out when you arrived. It's ridiculous. So anyway, trucking legislation from last year has been introduced to the House and have gone no further. That was the Truck Parking Safety Improvement Act. Somebody actually introduced a bill, and that's as far as it went.
Yeah.
That's how much consideration the federal government gives or pertains to truckers and the trucking industry when it comes to parking. But what can we do about it? I mean, we got a Secretary of Transportation that says he wants to help, but does he know how? And I think it's funny because reading through this bill, there was a section in there. Let me see. With my notes here.
I don't know if you
There was a section that funds made available in this title for construction may be used for advances to the Federal Highway Administration, Department of Transportation for the construction access of roads as authorized by Section 210 of Title 23 United States Code when projects authorized therein are certified as important to national defense by the Secretary of Defense. I would think that truckers having a place to park along the side of the interstate highways and stuff, to have pull-off areas and things where they can get proper rest periods and be able to relay loads to one another when they're trying to move articles for defense. If we need to move tanks, if we need to move, and I know some of it's by rail, depends on how fast they need it. But I've hauled rocket launchers and stuff, delivered them to be shipped overseas in the past. So having better established parking areas along our interstate highways and limited access highways will allow for applicable parking for rest periods and relay points for the mobilization of defense materials, which would be beneficial. This is kind of like a leverage point they give you in this bill that we could actually be approaching the Secretary of Transportation about if he was so choosing to listen. Going to Title 23 of the U.S. Title Code, Section 203, Federal Lands Transportation Program, use of funds. In general, funds made available under the Federal Lands Transportation Program shall be used by the Secretary of Transportation and the Secretary of appropriate federal land management agency to pay the cost of program administration, transportation planning, research, preventative maintenance, engineering, rehabilitation, restoration, construction, and reconstruction of federal lands transportation facilities and adjacent vehicular parking areas.
If you remember right, John, I went through this with the state of Indiana because what they took out the PT course at Grissom Air Force Base and built that prison. My answer to that was, well, why can't you take some of this other land that the state owns and turn it into parking like some others have?
Exactly.
Well,
that doesn't go over like nothing.
And what I'm saying here is they got the laws. These are statutes. These are federal laws telling and instructing the Secretary of Transportation how he can better improve parking issues for truck drivers. And it even goes back over here in Section 4, environmental mitigation in or adjacent to federal land open to the public, Section I of that, to improve public safety and reduce vehicle-caused wildlife mortality while maintaining habitat connected. So public safety, that is an issue, is it not? I mean, it is here. Then you got Federal Lands Access Program. This is Section 204, use of funds in general. And it kind of repeats a lot of the same thing, transportation planning, engineering, preventive. It covers a lot of the same sort of stuff here. So what I'm getting at here, guys, is there are laws, in effect, that the Secretary of Transportation excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied here, Secretary of Transportation could use to be advantageous to make parking for truck drivers. And it really wouldn't be anything overly complicated. You know, William McKelvey and I have had conversations about this sort of thing. And really, what do you need? You know, they got a big wide median area right there in the interstate. Could they not put Jersey barriers up along there with an exit ramp and a big parking lot in there just to have a place so you can get off the road, be legal and safe? I mean, why not have that so many miles on an interstate? Why not plan that like every 20 miles or so just for trucks? Just for trucks to have a wayside parking area. You know, they used to make these things in the old days for cars. You remember those, Tracy?
Yeah, I do.
I remember one out there on Route 111.
Yeah.
They had a way area. You just pulled off the side. They had little
Yep.
picnic tables, and you could just
Yep.
park and take a break from driving for a while.
Unfortunately,
have
they had to
lunch.
close a lot of those down because there was being too much nefarious things going on in them.
What's more important, though, road safety
get
or
it.
the fact that some gay guys went in there and met up?
Gay guys and drug dealers.
And that is the main reason why they closed some of them down in Pennsylvania.
Yep. The
They
drugs
did
and the gay,
Massachusetts, too.
yeah.
It's-
New Hampshire, they did. We had a couple right out here in Londonderry. When you got off the highway, you could have parked.
And make no mistake about it. Don't misconstrue it. We're not picking on gay people here. It's an actual thing. That's why I said it. You know, it's an actual thing. And
No, Pennsylvania made it very clear why they closed theirs down.
yeah,
I don't know if our Secretary of Transportation is even interested in this. How am I going to put this? I think he was more concerned about his husband, wife. What do you call that?
significant other is what they usually
Well,
call
they're
them.
married, so it's not significant
They
other.
still, I think, use that terminology.
Well,
they're not married?
Yeah, they're married.
Oh,
It-
okay, yeah.
He's
That's
married.
what they
call
The
it.
thing was, there was a big issue because there was a big thing on a couple of the like Newsmax and everything else that his significant other or his husband was having the students pledge allegiance to the LGBTQ flag.
Well, I bet that went over like a lead balloon
Well,
in the
as a
Pacific
parent-
Ocean.
As a parent, if I had found out my kid was involved in something like that, he would not be in a thing with children anymore. That to me is just going. They're just going too far. It's just going too far. We have one flag that we pledge to, and I certainly wouldn't force a classroom to stand up. And there was another teacher in California that did it too, but she got fired. I don't know if Buttigieg's husband would get fired or not because of who he is. So we'll see. We'll see how
I
that
don't know.
plays out.
What does he have to do with it? I mean, what does he do for a living? Is he a homemaker? Does he have a
Well,
career?
he was in a classroom teaching a group of kids to pledge
He's
allegiance.
a teacher at
I
school
think
and
he's
he
a
was doing
teacher.
this. With
No,
other
it's-
people's children?
Yes, this was in a
Oh,
classroom.
there.
There's
Okay,
a
I see
video.
the shock
you
now.
You can see the video. It was all over the internet. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is just lovely. This is just lovely. We have our United States of America flag. You know, I don't. Maybe someone needs to explain to me why we have to have all these different things. Or they all. I don't know. I don't even want to get into it. It's too much to get into.
So, yeah, Mona Beto says it's such a nightmare for parking. Now the parking areas are closed. If you're not
Yes,
seeking a
yep.
parking by 4 p.m., it's hard to find anything.
Yep.
Trucks are parking out on the roadside. So dangerous. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you're definitely preaching to the choir here. We lived that for so many years, especially up here in New England. Parking becomes hot real estate at 4 o'clock.
And I think
Sometimes earlier.
I think it's hard for women to have to park on the side of a road too.
It's worse. I would
think
imagine
it's worse
women.
for women to have to park on the side of a road.
I know a lot of girls,
security
women,
is
they
terrible.
plan their day a little bit more. I think they must cut off some hours out of their day to make sure they'll be parked in time and stuff. And
Well, I would hope so, but you know, with the ELD and all that other crap, who knows?
I know it makes it harder on them.
Makes it really tough on women drivers. I would find that to be really hard if I was driving because I'm not going to park on the side of a road.
So
I won't even drive over a bridge, never mind park on the side of the road.
Not a lie. She's actually woken me up out of the bunk. Hey, honey, could you drive over the bridge for me? Oh, absolutely. Let me just rub the sleep out of my eyes.
Yeah.
So I did find your
So, by the
article.
way, how's that Flintstones car working out for you,
Don't
John?
you he didn't see it yet.
Let's see
My
what-
Fled, I
Well, he's
ordered-
got to go.
I ordered that Fred Flintstone car, but I ordered it red with fur-lined seats because I think that's what we're going to need if the fuel prices keep going up.
I'm going to build a hydrogen generator.
Well, what am I going to do? Rocket myself to school?
No, it's a fuel. It's a way to supplement your fuel. They actually build them, and they're actually pretty interesting devices. And you've had people getting with cars that get about 15 miles per gallon now, getting 35, 40 miles per gallon off the things.
Well, let's see. I saw a guy on TikTok the other day refurbished a moped. He had a shopping cart tied to the back of it, told his wife to get on back, and that's how they're going to the grocery store from now on.
I saw that. That was hysterical. I don't think the moped could really hold those two their weight, though. I was laughing so hard.
You know, they had electric cars in the early 1900s. They actually had these electric cars that ran on regular car batteries. I don't know if they were. I think they were 24-volt batteries back in the day or something, and they'd have a slew of them like you do in a big truck. And the damn things would get about 25 miles per hour. You couldn't climb a hill for crap. It had a bar, and when you wanted to turn right, you had to push the bar forward. And you wanted to turn left, you had to pull the bar back. And that was your steering mechanism for it. It was like basically just a wheel buggy.
Well, I think I read that our DOT, our boss for that said that most people really need to start realizing that gas is going to get too expensive, so they need to get an electric car. They're not that expensive. They only start at $55,000 a year.
You can get them right around 35. You can get like a Toyota or something.
You only go 300 miles. Where the hell am I? But that's what it is.
That's the problem with a $35,000 car. It takes you about 16 to 24 hours to charge it, and you get about 300-mile range out of it.
But you know something? That's part. I hate to be like the naysayer, but that's part of their program. We're not going to be able to travel the way we travel now.
Well, this is how you manipulate society, right?
Exactly.
You gouge them for the fuel prices so people break down and buy electric.
Yeah, and that way you don't get to go too far, so you're not going to be...
And
right now, how we are so transient, I mean, if you want, you can pick up and go to Florida, you can drive out to California. They're not going to... They don't really want that. So, but do you think Pelosi, they're going to get rid of her this year?
I don't know. She did say she was going to run, didn't she?
Yeah. Who would vote? Well, it doesn't really matter because she pretty much has that sewed up out there.
Seems like her whole family gets voted in. Yeah. Even Newsom, when he was up for a recall, he somehow got put back in.
Yep, and so did Walters. They're all up from that area.
Oh, now how did that happen?
I don't know, because it's so honest. Now, come on.
No cheating going on here?
There was no cheating in this election. You know that. We'll have to get Chris on.
They never cheat out there. No, of course not.
I can't imagine that people out there want to live the way they live. You can barely make your rent. It's terrible.
Well, I've said it once, and I'll say it one more time, CJ. The last best thing I ever seen come out of San Francisco was Bill Cartwright. He played for the University of San Francisco and later was drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks.
I don't pay any.
That was back in the 70s.
Oh.
I'm sure, but I don't, when my son was little, I did the sport thing, but I really don't know too much about sports. I just think they're a bunch of overpaid babies, really.
Well,
they're overpaid.
Bill Cartwright stood about 6'9", and he was in it because he loved to play the game.
I met what the hell's his name? I'm from the Celtics. Larry Bird. I worked Special Olympics with Larry Bird and Sally Struthers and all those guys. But I mean, I just think sports people are overpaid. I think they're overpaid for what they do. And the one thing, I don't know how anybody else feels, but I'm going to tell you how I feel. I hate when not a politician. I hate when a musician, an actor, or an actress give us their political views. I teach drama. I teach my kids how to lie to be somebody else. So when something comes out of a singer or an actor or an actress, I'm like, yeah, no. I don't take what they say at all. Anybody else feel that way? Because that's how I feel.
They're paid to act.
Well, and that's right. That's why I have so much respect for Elvis. Because they asked him how he felt about the Vietnam War, and he told them, look, I'm not here to piss anybody off. I'm just an entertainer.
Well, didn't he get? Yeah, he got drafted, didn't he?
Yeah. My understanding is he was actually driving a truck in Nam.
Yeah.
But then when he came back, you know, I believe he was given a concert up in the Northwest somewhere.
Well,
when they asked him that question,
they do have people in the service that are musicians and stuff, and they go and they entertain the troops, and I get that part, and they need that. They need to have some type of relaxation and things. I'm not talking, about Bob Hope's special. I'm just talking about their usual Friday nights. They're stuck in a tent in a MASH unit or somewhere else, and or in a field, and they have somebody that will sing, and they'll just do little things. I mean, I get that. There are some people that's their job in the service. I mean, I understand that part.
And you would not believe how many actor or actresses were actually in the military.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
yeah.
Let's not forget Chuck Barris. Look how he was on the Gong Show, and yet
God, he was crazy.
Here he is. He was serving in the military.
Well,
and another one that really comes to mind. Who would have ever thought Bea Arthur is a Marine?
Oh yeah, she's pretty tough though. I would. That woman was tough. Even as an actress, she was tough. She was tough to work with. She was like, everything had to be a certain way or you were out the door. But I think I lost it when Cassius Clay decided he had to be an, what do you call that, objector.
Conscientious
objector. And he became Muhammad Ali.
I
saw his fights. I saw his
we
fights.
We won't even discuss the Louisville Lip.
Hell of a fighter.
He was a
just
good
not
fighter.
on the battlefield. That's all.
He didn't want to do that.
Well, when it comes to the Louisville Lip, I'll give you one name that damn near gave him hell putting him down. And yes, John, I'm being partial. George Foreman.
George Foreman's a badass, dude.
Yeah, he was a badass. I think my favorite fighter was Sugar Ray.
And he was a Marine, too.
I think my favorite fighter was Sugar, little guy.
Sugar Ray Leonard was a great lightweight fighter. He was a wiry little guy.
I used to go to the Golden Gloves fights with my father every Friday night.
Yeah, but I think if I had to pick a boxer of all time that I liked and what I saw, I'm going to have to go with Rocky.
Rocky? Well, yeah, that's true. He was, yeah.
Rocky Marciano. It was also my understanding his wife at 60 years old and was asked to pose for Playboy.
Huh. Lovely.
I think that in itself is flattery.
I wonder how he felt about that.
Well, these kind of.
Well, by then he was already gone by then.
Oh.
Hey,
Rocky had died in a plane crash.
Oh, that sucks.
Did everybody join Chuck E. Z's new page?
Chuck E's Chop Shop. That's what
Chop
it
Shop.
is. Chuck Biddles, my friend Chuck Biddles, he started a new convoy page.
I remember when I met him in Washington.
Oh yes, Chuck actually had a meeting with his one of his senators over the weekend.
He did. Chuck is on it now, man. He's on it.
And I even posted it up on the TIBN group for those that want to see it. So it is up.
Well, I like Chucky. I spent some time with him in Washington.
Was he there when we were there? I don't remember him
I think
being
he was.
there.
He was way down in the back. Wasn't that Chuck Biddles? I told me his name was Chuck.
I think you're thinking of a different Chuck. I don't think he was there when we were there.
I'm pretty sure he was from California.
Oh, well, maybe he was there. I'll be upset if I found out he was there when we were there and I missed him.
Yeah, but that's when we just started. That's when, we've been to Washington.
Oh, you're talking about in 2017.
In 2017.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm thinking down to 10-4.
These latter dates, I mean, I know there was a couple of people who thought 2017 was a joke, but I've never seen them do anything since. Well, I have. I've seen them call up and take ideas and then run with the ideas and pretend they're ideas. I've seen that, which it really annoys me because some of us work really hard behind the scenes. I can't tell you how many hours especially my husband, puts behind the scenes. which can be sometimes really annoying, and he knows how I feel about that sometimes. And they take those ideas. Oh, hey, John, can you write me a letter? We're in trouble here. Can you write a letter for me? And then he does it. They love it, and then he gets blocked. I love those. I love these groups that say, I see that. I shouldn't even talked about this because I'm all riled up. They say unity, but give me your ideas, and then I'm going to block you. I just love those guys. That shows me what kind of leaders they are. And they know who I'm talking about. If you're in the industry, you know who I'm talking about.
Some guys have, they kind of want to make a little bit more about their groups, more than everybody
I
else.
went by a guy's house tonight that she's talking about.
Was it a peculiar place?
Yeah, the same guy that, if I remember right, a couple of years ago, had his ass handed to him by a certain woman.
I really wish we had asked him so many times to call in when we were doing the brew, and I think we're going to start doing the brew again. We wanted him to call in, and he could talk to us and give us his side. But how do you give a side when he's up here trying to offer me? I love this part. I loved when he said, I can pay you $350 a week to work for me. I was like, oh, that's fucking insulting. Oh, did I just say so? We're sorry.
It's okay on this one. It's the Wednesday night show. You really
got there she goes again, John, telling the truth.
I mean, it's true.
Jeremy's chiming in here.
Yeah, Jeremy, you're right. Yes, go to the state. Jeremy, we have been saying that since 2017. We even have offered, if you don't know what to say to your senator or to your representative or your governor, we'd be more than happy to give you a standard letter that everybody could use. Everybody could be on board with the same thing, and if they were flooded with the same letter, yes, they would start to listen. But you can't have yahoos writing letters when they don't even understand what the Constitution or the laws really mean.
Sometimes you lose your direction if you don't understand certain things and don't do your research first. Tim Sedgley, good to see you, brother. Yes, I know you've worked hard behind the scenes. I definitely know that. Tim worked with USTA after 2017.
And Team Sudsbury, they're on there. They've worked hard. Some of us have worked for some. I'm going to
many people. I got to be honest. Many people did a lot of hard work. Many people did.
And the next thing you know, we get. I'm sorry. I am not the biggest fan of these so-called leaders. Because I work in a union, we pick our leaders. We sit down and we choose. We hear what they have to say. We choose who's going to work the best for us. I'm going to tell you, who can articulate, who knows the ins and outs. That's really important. It's not something just to get up there on TV or somewhere else and go, yeah, that's what we're doing, yeah. Come on, people.
Well, and I know that sometimes, and John knows where I'm.
Wait a minute, I have to say this. John and I don't always have the same view.
No, it's a matter of everybody has their own personal opinions.
But after 30 years, I say what I want, he says what he wants, and if we get mad, 10 minutes later, we're fine, we're doing something else. So, ask Cheryl.
We don't fight.
Cheryl would
say, we don't fight around this house.
No. And I think what's funny about the whole thing is somebody takes a little initiative and tries to do something back then, and then the powers that be, and John knows where I'm going with this, when somebody's related to a certain Speaker of the House and another person decides to rail on them because they chose to write a letter and it got national publicity at that time.
Well, I got to tell you, I've been...
But those leaders right there, those particular type of leaders, and I'm kind of glad to see that the People's Convoy hasn't done this, is they haven't been out already on Facebook or whatever, and they're already out. And if somebody had that idea, they're not out ridiculing it. So I haven't seen anything like that.
I feel like they've done a pretty good job with the People's Convoy for the most part.
Well, I think it's the People's Convoy. But, to me, a convoy, when they started it, a convoy doesn't take 11 days. I'm going to be honest with you. It would have made more difference for them to come straight across, build up their momentum, coming across instead of stopping. I know they needed to stop. They needed whatever. Whatever their needs were, I get that. But impact would have made a big difference. And especially when we knew the Ukrainian war was starting to escalate. Because Ukrainian war took their impact away. It didn't matter.
It's funny. Every time we have an event, there's always some sort of
Something that curtails
overlying issue. Like in 2017 when we went to D.C., you had the sniper in Nevada.
Yeah,
And all of a sudden, we lost everything. We had people that were calling us and wanting to interview and stuff. All of a sudden, they were gone. It was so disappointing. And then this happens to the People's Convoy. It is so disappointing.
I think also the reason why they're not getting it because they're not going to change anything. They know they're going to let these guys run it out. Nothing is going to change until we get our Senate and get your freaking governors. The governors can do a lot. Get to your governors, but they don't. They go, D.C., here we come. D.C. isn't going to do anything. Do you know how long it's going to take for someone to write up a bill, to write up the bills, then it has to go through this house, and then it has to go through this house, and it can get vetoed?
Raywald, I'd like to know what you're talking about on new bills or new rules set in place down there. I'm not sure what you're talking about in that regard.
Well, they're getting attention, and this is something that we were going to talk about tonight.
Well, this is what.
So, John, did you happen to read that article I sent you today?
I got it here somewhere, I do believe.
Well,
would you read a clip of that so everybody knows where we're going with this?
Let me just while you look at that, what Team Seisberg had said, and they're right. It's when we take each other's views, sort them out, combine, or use these directly for the betterment of all. You're exactly right, and there's no ego in there. And Jeremy, I'd love to see a copy of that too, of the new rules they set on place down there. That would be really interesting to see because we don't hear anything else. That's what we do with the union. The AFT is in every single state, and every school system has their own little pack. And all the presidents will get together, taking what we tell them, and then they take it to wherever. In fact, they just had a big win in D.C. on Friday. So
what Sean wants to get to here is, speaking of media outlets and stuff, is that, let's see, from what I understand, the organizers set rules about FJB flags and Trump flags. And that was supposed to be from the start. They weren't supposed to have any partisanship insignias, or it was supposed to be for all people, left, right, it didn't matter. They just really value their freedom. So I guess they kind of went back to reinforcing that.
What do you mean?
So basically, you're not supposed to have the Trump flags. You're not supposed to have the Biden flags. It's not supposed to be camps of Trump and Biden and stuff like that. It was supposed to be nonpartisan
the convoy,
effort.
You mean?
The convoy, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's what he's referring to now. And so it was supposed to be.
Well, actually, what I was going else was I read an article this week that I feel like literally just sucked my brain cells out. I would have had more fun reading the National Enquirer, where at least I could have had a little bit of imagination. And yes, I am talking about the Daily Beast. There is so many articles written that they've put up about the truckers' convoy, and they're claiming they're being accused of being cut off, and they're being disrupted, or they're not given enough respect. That if you go and you look, and Nikki Wilson actually pointed this part out to me. One guy was trying to speak. The reporter tried to interrupt him. And there was another driver there that tried to speak. Ted Cruz tried to speak. And yet, though, these reporters keep interrupting. Where in the damn hell do they come off with saying they're being disrespected? Let the man answer the damn question.
Wait a minute. Okay.
So basically what Sean's getting at is the Daily Beast is known to be a far-left liberal. Basically, it's a tabloid with gonzo journalism. And by gonzo journalism...
I want to join that.
What?
The Daily Beast. I want to be a journalist.
You want to join that?
Yeah.
So, but
she's going to get right over there on that, John.
By gonzo journalism, what that means is when somebody's reporting on an issue or writing an article, they interject their personal experience and their personal emotions into it, and they base their facts on that as opposed to real facts and data. So basically, they're nothing, like Sean said, they're nothing better than the National Enquirer.
Hold on. The National Enquirer puts out some really true stories now. They have to because they've lost hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well, in the 1980s, they were putting out some bullshit. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, but now they really can do that.
Elvis was spotted with Bigfoot coming out of a UFO.
Hey, I was that 9-year-old girl that had a child. That's why my son is the age he is and the age I'm at. So that's how it works.
You're just 29 for life. I get it.
I get it. I don't know. I want to be 35. 35
okay, 35 for life. You got it.
Okay.
I'll write a letter to God.
Thank you.
So anyway, my whole point of bringing this issue up is I have not seen one iota of very many problems that have been going on with the People's Convoy. What problems have been occurred to Mike Landis that he has ran into, he has asked him either come forward or whatever. I guess there was a camera that came up missing. And Mike had told him, bring the camera back, no questions asked, but if I find you, you're out of here.
Ooh, tough love.
But at the same token, when you got a gathering of people, certain things are going to happen.
If that's all that was missing was a camera, that's awesome. I work with kids. Do you know how much crap goes missing every single time? Oh, in fact, we're going back on the radio. I told you that, right? Yeah, we're going back on the radio.
Oh, you and Cheryl decided?
No, I'm waiting to hear back from Cheryl. Oh, you know what I read? And all you drivers out there that do smoke pot or drink, even though you're...
Truck drivers don't do such things. What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry. That's right. It's not truck drivers. They're innocent little children. I keep forgetting. They have approved and passed that instead of doing a pee test, you will be doing an oral swabs and spit and hair. So, yeah. So, all you guys out there, best be careful.
Can you purchase somebody else's spit?
I don't think you can, because they're going to have you go in and they're going to swab you. Yes.
Well, we already know you can get somebody else's urine at a low-cost price, but even still.
Stop giving away trucker secrets.
You know what?
Anybody with their common sense, when you urinate in a bottle, technician looks at that damn strip at the bottom, and he or she pretty much has a good idea whether it's worth even sending in or not.
Well, you get some people that will just do it, but I don't know. It's coming. I think this is my personal view, because I know it's going to come for teachers. It's already starting. They already have started saying they want it for nurses and doctors because the drug use is high. I'm thinking, really? You guys are making these rules. I think before they make rules for us, we need to have our senators and representatives, every time they go into, the Capitol, they ought to be a little guy there with a swab. Come over here. Come here, Pelosi. You been drinking last night? Go home. Everybody, how many people end up going home for drugs or alcohol that's sitting up there in the Capitol? Because what else can you do?
Hey, I know a representative in Colorado would probably back you on that, Tracy.
How many? The crap you have to sit there and listen to. Some of they drone on, and then people don't realize when you're up there in Capitol Hill and you're waiting for a bill to come up, a guy could spend 3 hours talking about nothing, and he's going to do that because he doesn't want the bill to go through. They want to keep that bill waiting. They don't want it to pass, so they'll keep talking and talking and talking. So I'm thinking, swab him. What's making him talk so much?
Yeah, right.
Get the swab out.
Chris Wyatt from the conservative Common Sense Conservative Show has joined us on the YouTube channel. He wants to know who these crazy people are, and he's willing to help truck drivers out. Said he'll offer some urine samples for you.
Cool.
Hey, make sure you never take them from a dog.
Or a pregnant spouse.
Or we don't know, Yeah. I don't know, but they're not going to use the urine. They're going to use spit. So unless you can hire a personal spit person to be near you, I don't know. But I just think it's unrealistic with what they put on these guys all the time. It's always one more thing for a driver. They keep doing this, and see, There was some. Go ahead, Tracy. My idea of doing something would have been shut down the southern border, shut down the ports. Instead of going to D.C., I had to take all those people and go to these different spots and say, we're sitting here now. Now you're going to have to take notice.
There was something that came out with the FMCSA this week that I had an article up on the group page. I actually thought it was pretty neat for a change. So now they're going to start running BMV reports on all the foreign drivers that come into this country.
Oh, boy. You know, I felt really bad for this man because if you know where we live in New Hampshire, okay, we live on it's a very busy road. We have trucks all the time, and I was out walking, and this driver pulled me over. And I'm like, oh, why is he pulling me over? This is kind of weird. He keeps beeping at me. So he gets out of his truck and he comes over, and he shows me his manifest. And he's pointing to it. He couldn't speak English, and it wasn't Portuguese, and it wasn't Spanish, and he's just pointing to his manifest. He wanted to go down to Sam's Club. I ended up drawing him a picture because I don't even know what he's speaking, and I felt really bad for this guy because he's really trying to find his way, and he just didn't know what to do. So, yeah, you know, I really think we should go back that they have to know some type of English.
You're supposed
to. That's the way
it's
supposed to be, yes.
That's a law?
I have known people get in trouble in Maine, actually have to go to court before a judge because they didn't speak English fluently.
We learned today in the city of Nashua. Now, New Hampshire's not a big state. In the city of Nashua, there are 52 different languages in our city now. 52 different languages. And being in the school system, we have to provide a translator when these parents come to school. So how about that, people?
Well, and look what happened with John and I when we had Brent Hoover on the show. And we asked him about pulling over foreign drivers. They have to call in an interpreter.
Yeah. I want to be an interpreter. They start at $100 an hour.
You don't speak any other languages.
Damn. Call me in for English. I can help.
They don't need somebody that can interpret gibberish.
I can make up a language and they can pay me. I don't know what Ryan means, my more dumb patriots.
You know, she's on to something, John. She might be on to something here.
Explain.
We need to bring the brew back. Cheryl, if you're listening and you're not sleeping because I know you've been running all night long, you need to call me, girl. We got to get past all these weird and all the rumors. Oh, my God. We could go into rumors for the next hour, but I can't because I got to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, after last week's show, let's...
Well, you guys don't want to do another 3-hour, 9-minute marathon?
No.
I can pull some people in here. We'll get them arguing and fighting.
No. Well, you guys can, but I got to go to work.
No.
I need to save my energy for getting...
I seen so much crisscrossing in that damn crock of shit last week.
I forgot to bring my ladle. I forgot to have a ladle moment. Darn it.
Should we yodel?
Well, I haven't got mine painted up for Notre Dame colors yet, John, so we'll hold on to that for another day.
Okay.
You know, I liked what they said about the nonpartisan convoy, but I did see a lot of Trump flags, which, you know, why not? I mean, I can understand the F.J. Biden flags because that's just inappropriate for people to see. But one thing that bothered me, on one of the trucks, the flag was touching the ground.
Uh-oh.
And I thought, I'm saying, come on, mister, pick that flag off the ground.
Yeah, that I could go with, yeah.
I mean, come on, we all learned that in school. You know, we still say the Pledge of Allegiance every single day in school. We say it every single day. Some of the kids, if a kid comes to my room and he won't stand, he will when I get done with him. You stand. I don't care if you want to or not. You stand up. Be respectful. But that's a whole different issue.
Now, I had a third grade teacher. First of the week, we always said our pledge.
We say it every single day.
At 8:05. From first to third we did, but when we got into fourth grade, we kind of got away from all that.
Every day. We say the pledge. The kids, you know, we get kids, I don't have to stand. My mother said I don't have to do this. Well, you know, I feel like saying, your mother's also sitting home and collecting a check each month, so she should be saying it because thanks to her and thanks to us, she gets to stay home and collect money. That's just...
I think she's singing God Bless America.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know, but it is.
But I bet she got her COVID check.
Yeah, I'm sure. I didn't get a COVID check. In fact, I think I might.
No, I didn't get one either.
And I have to tell you, this long COVID is kicking my butt.
Chris says he was over there at the rally point, Hagerstown.
When?
If he got any more, I don't know. He said he just came home from the
Oh.
rally point in Hagerstown. I wonder if he got any more interviews.
Well, we
Maybe
hope.
Well,
he'll
he
tell us the
did.
big secrets
The
for
Schmitz
tomorrow.
did what? The Schmitz were online earlier tonight saying that they just got through having dinner with Chris.
I missed that. I missed that one. I saw the next video. After that,
Yeah,
I think they cut
Lisa
off.
only did like a 3-minute video, and Leland was complaining about his bald spot. I offered to donate hair to him. I don't know if he'll take me up on it or not, but
So is anybody else getting where they don't have to buy diamond rings for their wives for anniversary anymore? Like just a gallon of diesel will do.
Are you doing that? Are you going there? You're
I am
there?
going there.
You're going there. He
Diesel
said,
has
instead-
more
he
value
said,
than
instead
diamonds
of-
these days.
Instead of
Look at
buying
it.
me something for Mother's Day or something for my birthday, he's going to buy me fuel, and we're going to store it here. Thank you.
so let me get
That's
this right.
enduring.
We went to what I heard on TikTok one day. Diamond rings don't work after 10 years of marriage. Now you have to say who wants new floors, and John Grosvenor tops it up a notch. Who wants gasoline?
Yeah, we're going to have our own fuel. He's going to buy it and store it here for me. Isn't that wonderful? I think that's okay because I don't care about jewelry. When I was teaching in the prison system, I couldn't wear jewelry, so I got out of the habit of wearing jewelry.
You know, Sedgwick said this here, and I really can identify with this. Every morning we said the pledge, prayed,
Yeah.
and sometimes someone saying,
Yeah.
"God bless America." It was solid, patriots, left, right, and all.
That's
and I
right.
remember that. It didn't matter if you were Democrat or Republican.
Nope,
You
it
loved
didn't.
this country. You were patriotic, and you saluted that flag.
We're not allowed to pray in school. We just take a moment of silence. So, which I guess it's better than nothing. But I'm just still reeling. I know my time teaching is just about done because I refuse to teach the CRT. I am not going to do that, and I hope more parents, as they are becoming aware of it, are standing up against it. Teaching is about reading, writing, and math. That's it. We're not to be teaching anything else. We can teach history, just what we're supposed to teach, and not what some of these people want us to teach. I'm totally against that. I would be done. There's no way that I would ever teach to a little white child that,
That he's bad for being born white.
yes, or to a little black child that you're automatically a victim.
Can you imagine looking down at that innocent little face and going, inherently, you are
And
a
you know what we
racist
see
because you
now?
were born white.
I teach in a middle school, and right across from me is the elementary school. And every day they have recess. All those little children are playing together. And it's just so wonderful to see. It didn't matter what color or who you are. They're all out there chasing and playing and doing stuff. All together. It doesn't matter. But we're the ones who are teaching them that it matters.
I actually got a video loaded up that this kid spoke of. And it's about 6 minutes, though. But this 18-year-old that attended the meeting with Cruz, he was talking about this very thing.
Yeah.
And he's black of skin.
Yeah.
And he's talking about this very thing, how he gets tired of being labeled an Uncle Tom because of the way he dresses. Because he wears cowboy boots and a cowboy hat and a Western shirt.
Yeah.
He lives out in California. He likes horseback riding. So that's what he was saying. It was really kind of touching, too, because Brian presented the flag to him. And it was really kind of a touching thing how Brian did it. And I thought that was a great show of leadership on Brian's part, the way he did it. And the fact that he did it, don't you start.
Don't get me started.
But it was kind of touching, the things he said, as he spoke to Cruz and stuff. And I kind of like the part where Cruz had said at the end, he says, well, there's always a place here in Texas for you. The door's always open. He says, and you're dressed right for it.
Yeah, really. Dress right for Texas or Florida. And then, of course, right now with the don't say gay. I mean, if you read that bill, has anybody read that bill out of Florida? Don't say gay. Has nothing to do with that. What it really, when you get down to it, they're not going to teach kids from kindergarten to third grade anything about sex. Now, as a parent, I'm in charge of that. Not some teacher, not some principal, not some politician. I will teach my child about sex when I feel that child is emotionally capable of handling it. I'm going to tell you, I've never known, I had boys, girls, I had foster kids. I've never known a 4 or 5 year old boy come up to me and say, I want to be a girl because I'm playing with a Barbie doll. Who the hell gives a shit? My boys took Barbie dolls, chopped their heads off, threw them in the brook, floated them around, pretend they were swimming. It didn't matter. They're grown men today, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Or a little girl climbing a tree. I made tree houses out here. We had so many tree houses out here. My father couldn't cut down some of the trees because they were full of nails. They had to go and do all kinds of weird stuff. I mean tons of nails. My poor dad, rest his soul.
I must have missed something here in the last 40 years, because
I missed it too.
when I went to school, when I hit 6th grade, there was a letter that went out to all the parents. This following week, we will be teaching this class. If you do not want your child, or as they use child or pupil back then, if you do not want them a part of this class for that day, you need to keep them home.
Well, you know, I know a couple.
And we saw the old film strip version like everybody else got, and we're all like, yeah, okay, yeah, we know about that part.
Well, I think people should be angry. There is a camp, I think it's in Georgia, that teaches children sex and how to perform sex and all different aspects of sex. And I think that is an absolute, that to me is not just morally wrong, but it has to be legally wrong. There has to be something.
When we were growing up, that was corruption of a minor.
You're not
kidding. You didn't teach them that stuff. But I remember when I was a kid, in the 4th grade, they were teaching us sex ed, but it wasn't in great detail.
I don't remember that.
More or less how babies come from.
Middle school teaches it, but they teach the kids about condoms and things like that. And most of them are so immature, they go, ha, 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 or they just start laughing, and they're just emotionally immature. But I get it.
We thought they were great water balloons.
Well, I have to tell you, when the state of Michigan decided, I don't know, this was probably a long time ago, that for welfare, because they were really becoming a state that was running out of money, has decided that if your child is under the age of 18 and gets pregnant, you will be solely responsible. There will be no welfare checks for that child. Well, teenage pregnancy dropped, I think, about 50 or 60% that year, because parents already started being parents again.
Kind of had to, right?
You had to. Otherwise, you weren't going to get a check from the state if your daughter or son decided to, have a baby somewhere. That wasn't going to happen. But, I get it. But with this whole thing in Florida, the media the propaganda just goes too far. And unfortunately, so many people believe it. Unfortunately, my oldest sister has some dementia. And she was so upset the other day. She says to me, I don't know why the Ukrainians and the Russians won't give us gas. Because that's what's on the news up here all the time. It's the Russians' fault. It's the Ukrainians' fault. It's like, Candy, this is just propaganda. Turn that stuff off.
And what's funny is I sent that very article to Jenna Haig. And for those of you that just might be watching for the first time, Jenna's running for District 98 in Florida for U.S. Representative. I sent that to her and asked her opinion, and she fired back at me. See, the media can't tell the truth. It's a bunch of it's just not right.
No, and I grew up with the media told you the news. We never got their opinions. They would just state the facts. That was it. You formed your own because Americans were pretty smart. Cronkite, Jack Curtis, all of those guys.
Back in the day.
Yes. And that's how news should be. Now it's all about their personalities and what they think. I don't give a shit what they think. I can think for myself. And that's what we have to start teaching. People need to think for themselves.
People need to learn critical thinking, and that's part of critical thinking is making your own assessment of things.
And I have to tell you, I'm going to say young adults from 30 and under, with all this social media, they don't know how to think. And I'm watching these kids. I'm watching the kids I had 10 years ago and 15 years ago. They still do not know how to, they're socially inept. They don't know how to socialize. They don't know how to do anything. Thinking on their own becomes hard because some of these college kids are being so indoctrinated by crap. So it's tough. It's a really tough thing for America, and Americans have to start waking up. Oh, aren't they already woke? Are we already woke or something?
No, there's a difference between being woke and awakened.
Ah, okay. I'm certainly not.
Right now they're at the woken stage with the gas prices. So they're about to get it. They're about to get a dose of reality pretty soon.
Yeah, it's too much. It really is. It's sad.
And that's something else I wanted to bring up today. You know what I noticed, John?
What's that?
So you go to a Love's or a Pilot truck stop, and the fuel prices are anywhere from $5.17 to $5.25 going down I-35 today. But you go to Casey's or a Come and Go, and they're down to $4.70, $4.72.
And
What's this kind of tell you?
Well, Love's is out west. The Love's have been running out of diesel, haven't they?
But, I mean, what does this tell you, though? When you go down and you see all these other places, I mean, I'm sitting at a TA right now, and they're at $5.25.
Either Love's is price gouging, or, and it may have a lot to do with the fact that they sold diesel to large corporations when it was cheap. So they bought in at $2 a gallon, or like I saw one ad there said, "Hey, look, you lease on with us, and diesel for you is 99 cents a gallon, guaranteed." No matter what.
I kind of think that's what got Flying J in trouble, wasn't it?
I don't recall.
Yeah, a few years back, they had bought a bunch of fuel, and then the price went up, and they end up losing their butt over it.
Oh, you mean they tried to gouge them for the price anyway, even though they bought in.
So, yeah, I think that kind of happened to Flying J a few years back.
Yeah. So that does happen, and I think when that happens, and to cover their losses and stuff, that
they're going to do that.
The providers will raise the rates a little bit because they got to balance out. They can't go operating in the red all the time.
Thursday, there was no fuel in a lot of cities in Massachusetts. Ran out of fuel.
Yeah, we heard Lowell and Chelmsford over there. They were out of gasoline, and
they were all out.
I don't know. You know, I tend to think some of this is there's no need to be out of fuel. It's there's so much oil in the ground. It's incredible, and I like we were talking about. You know, we export more than we import. Chris says it's on YouTube. Chris says it is perfectly legal to buy fuel filters. Southwest have hundreds of millions over a decade ago doing just that. Absolutely, it is. It is. You can buy in cheap. I was telling Tracy, I think I'm going to start buying those 55-gallon drums for about $20 a piece and store them over here. When the fuel goes down, I am going to stock up in store and get like the additive dust so it doesn't.
So in other words, the chicken coop will now become the fuel desk.
Yeah, you got it.
It was supposed to be Cheryl's apartment. Now you're going to turn it into the fuel desk, right?
It's Cheryl's apartment. That's right. We were gonna put an attachment to it, so it was like a big truck. So that was a sleeper bunk section.
Oh my God, Cheryl's apartment.
Hirschbach, Greenfield. That's right. Hirschbach was the one I saw for 99 cents a gallon.
Yeah, we're not going there.
And Tim is saying I have been noticing that also. Sean, fuel is varying 40 to 60 cents. There's a big fluctuation going on. Well, and what happens, too, is a lot of stores, if they're chains and stuff, what they do is they try to attract business to that chain. So they deliberately mark down the price, and they'll take a hit on it. And what they're doing is trying to find – they'll do it for like a month. Then once they got your traffic flow coming in there, and once you're buying fuel in there, you're going to go into the store, and you're going to shop for cigarettes and whatnots. So they're going to get the traffic flow back to their stores, and then they'll jack it back up again on you and try to make a balance out of the whole quarter is what they're trying to do. So it's a way to get the customer base back.
But again, I understand, like I say, but you go to the bigger chains and they're still over $5 a gallon. But you go to the smaller ones and they're 20, 30, 40 cents under the $5 mark.
Yeah.
So I think what's getting ready to happen is now they're getting ready to have a somewhat of a diesel war here.
It could be. And we could be seeing too that where they're stocked up, they got stores of it or something bringing it in. They got the supply, right? But the demand is high right now, and that's creating the issue.
Right.
And of course, I guess maybe due to things that are going in Russia, we do get a lot of fuel and stuff from Persian countries, and they may be limiting the supply too on us. We sanction Russia, they sanction us, right?
Yep. Exactly.
But then I read an article today where Russia's actually looking for help through China.
Well, I don't know if I believe that crap, though.
What? On economics, yes.
Yeah, on economics. But what I'm saying is there's no way that Putin's going to be with no.
What, with China?
No.
Of course he is. He's been.
Oh, yes, but he's not going to be, well, how can you put it?
It's like right now what they're doing. Yeah. We're dividing the globe is what we're doing. Okay,
I have
to
go.
What Putin is doing because of I
have to go. I really do.
TJ's going to check out
my
on
Fitbit
us,
says it's time for my meds, and I'm telling you, if anybody that has long COVID, this really sucks.
So, and I got a few more minutes, John. So
All right,
go
so we'll
ahead
be on
if
for
you
just
want
a
to go
couple
on.
minutes.
Go ahead. Bye,
So,
guys. Have a
Bye,
nice week.
TJ. Thanks for coming on with us. So yeah.
Next time, wear the hat.
Well, when we come back to the
Wait a minute. I already. Go ahead. Say what you
Why
want to
don't
say.
we bring the brew back? And when we bring the brew back, there's going to be a lot of hostility, I think. Because we have a lot of opinions. As you know, women have a lot of opinions.
You're losing your Sunday night show.
No.
Yes.
No. And no, we're not losing Sunday night. We took it back fair and square.
You know something? Wait a minute. You know where I'm sitting? In my house, in my studio, Sean.
And you know where I'm sitting?
I get
In
my
my
way.
bunk, in my truck. And here we go.
And I get my way.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What she's saying is she lives with a guy that owns the equipment.
I just thought of something. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. It would be best I just leave that one alone.
Yeah, I think Greenfield's right. They're playing some fuel games. It's really what it is to me is it's showing a lot of instability.
And it is in a lot of ways.
Which is very concerning, And I've spoke with people like JoJo over a year ago, folks that know JoJo Beretta and stuff, and he was telling me then, we're going into hyperinflation, John. It's coming. It's coming. Prepare for it. It's coming. Well, it's here. It's happening. What he predicted is happening.
Well, and Trump predicted the same thing too. You elect Joe, gas and diesel will be up over $5 a gallon. Presto.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we knew that because Obama did the same crap. They want to push you into their new Green Deal. They want to push you into their new green energies that aren't working, and we know they don't work. And try to plug a car in the middle of summer when everybody's running their AC and start going through the brownouts again and see how well your car charges and how well you get to work the next day when you got an electric car.
Hey, I seen a video the other day. Old Corn Pop, he was doing a great job of trying to sell a car. You can go from coast to coast on one tank of gas with an electric car.
One tank of gas will get you there. He isn't lying. You could put a gallon of gas in the trunk of your car and go with it. You ain't going to stop before recharging, that's for sure. I mean, you ain't going to go.
I do know that there is a couple out there that have tried to do electric and gas together. Now, how successful was another story. I hadn't did any research on that.
They've had hybrid cars. I mean, Prius and stuff.
That's
what it was hybrid car. They run on gasoline. They charge the batteries. When the batteries get charged, it switches back to electric. It's a fantastic design. I mean, isn't that how trains work? Is they got diesel engines pushing electric motors because electric motors can get the torque and stuff and the power to move the train as opposed to trying to use the diesel.
And what I was going to tell you earlier in the broadcast tonight was, there was actually electric cars back in the 1900s. And your prime example for all you John Wayne fanatics, if you watched his last movie, The Shootist.
I don't recall it, but
Richard Boone was actually driving an electric car when they were doing a scene with him and Lauren Bacall.
All right. Oh, I know they had him. Jay Leno was doing a bit, and he had one of those buggies I was describing, and it was a pretty fascinating piece of engineering way back in the day, for what it was. But like I said, it had no real power. It had 25 miles an hour as its fastest speed, which is fine around town in San Francisco or something. It's a great vehicle to get you where you got to go. But you got to climb a hill or something. Well, it's a two-seater, and it just can't carry the weight. It didn't have the torque for the hills and stuff.
Right.
Hey,
so
Chucky,
what else do
doing,
we
brother?
have going on tonight, John, real quick?
Let's see. I got my one lame joke out there, so that's done. I think that was it, really. I mean, I think we covered everything, parking issues and how
and I had my we had our
gets his head out his
we had our fun railing on a tabloid, but even still, that there was no excuse for
we
that.
Weren't even
there was
done
just
with
plain
that,
none.
dude. Listen, there's a site called SiteJabber, right? According to SiteJabber, the Daily Beast has a consumer rating of 1.51 stars from 59 reviews, indicating that most customers are generally dissatisfied with their purchases. Okay.
Now, how much does the National Enquirer have?
I have no idea. One guy
I
put a
guarantee you
review
they got
on there.
more.
One guy put a review on there. He says, "Why can't I give it 0 stars? This news channel is one of the worst sites I've ever seen." Another guy put on there, "Biased and not worth reading out thousands of peaceful, beautiful people fighting for fair elections in the U.S. The Daily Beast picks up out one sign to label the entire group as racist. It is disgusting. Fails to mention how Antifa BLM thugs were attacking innocent elderly people. Avoid this media outlet completely. Communist rag."
Well, and that's the point that Chuck Biddles had brought up in his TikTok video this week, was he had told the senator that if they're doing stuff like that, they're getting rid of them. They don't want no part of that. And she was all for this. Now, I guess they're supposed to be having another meeting here pretty soon.
Who's this?
This is with Chuck with his U.S. senator.
Yeah.
Or state senator.
Yeah, that's right.
And
a state senator.
But, Chuck had made it very clear. Those individuals, they don't need to be a longed-up part of that. And this is where I have to give the People's Convoy a lot of credit. The fact is that they've kept that out. And very quickly, they've got rid of it. And if I'm not mistaken, Leland was even involved in one of them where they hurried up and got rid of them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were on it. Any kind of fuels, plants, or other. They run right out on the rail.
Well, I guess one guy had got out with a megaphone and said the convoy's over at 3 o'clock. Leland had said, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yeah, convoy's over at 3 o'clock." And to quote Leland Schmidt, it was, "The fuck it is."
Yeah, guys gonna come in there and try to tell them how they're gonna operate, right?
Yeah, well, Leland wasn't going for that. Neither was a few other drivers. So I don't know all the other drivers that were there. I just know what he told me when all that happened.
Leland doesn't put up with nonsense.
Tim, no.
Tim's saying, "How will electric car get?" This is more what's the word? Rhetorical, I guess. But how will electric car or truck work when you are stuck in the road 3 days in a North Dakota blizzard? Which is a very good point. That's a AAA moment, Tim. Once that storm's over, you better have a kerosene heater or something with you with a few gallons of kerosene. You're probably going to need a lot more than that. 3 days, you're going to go through some serious amounts of kerosene. Yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Hunker down. Build yourself an igloo.
Yeah, and it's funny because I seen a woman that froze up in North Dakota just this week. She was on talking about things and all bundled up, and she said, "How cold is it in North Dakota?" And she took out this ice cube out of her cup, and it was actually shaped in her cup. Said, "Oh, no, it doesn't get cold in North Dakota at all."
Yeah, right.
The one place you don't want to freeze up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But she did.
Well, I heard them guys out there with automatics getting a truck wash or something. They have a joyful time too.
Oh, yeah, that was real fun. Why don't you just talk about that now?
Well, go ahead. Tell us.
So, ladies and gentlemen, one lesson that was learned this week: do not take a truck wash in 20-degree weather with an automatic. Don't do it. Even though it looks like crap and you're supposed to turn the truck in, don't. Okay, we're going to leave it at that.
Somebody wasn't rolling, apparently. Lines froze up, something, I don't know. Didn't want to shift.
No, it was called dropping trailers.
Oh.
I dropped one trailer to pick up another, and, well, I end up sitting there for about 20 minutes.
So, yeah, I don't know nothing about automatics because I don't
So let's just tell this story. The only reason I'm even in this damn crap right now is because my truck's going to be out of the shop tomorrow. So the company had asked me to run this one for the week. And based on some of the performance inside of Penske, I'm not too impressed.
Penske is a very, very busy company. They've got, I said I don't drive automatics. I have driven them in the past, and I hate them. But Penske is a very, very busy company. They're almost impossible to do business with anymore. They're the type of company to tell you, if you want a meal order, you can with the order, you can with. The problem is they can't get them anymore. You know, they're back ordered and parts are back ordered, but in general, even when things are good, they just don't have enough mechanics. They don't have enough space to get these things worked on. They got more trucks and capabilities, I think.
Well, and I'll say this in this defense. When I had to call them today, and they found out I had a bad fuel filter, the kid showed up just like he was supposed to, and he changed both filters, and off we go. But the light's back on, and I think I probably got some bad fuel somewhere.
Oh, in the cold, freezing
well,
up in your
it's
filters.
it's not really cold down here now. I mean, I'm in 70-degree weather, John.
Oh well, I'm thinking North Dakota.
So that is
momentarily.
that is one I've got up on you. You know, I'm in 70-degree weather while you're up there freezing your yoo-hoo off, but that's another story.
It's warming up. I'm enjoying the last few days of winter. You know how it goes. I'm in New England. We're going to get our snow. We might even get some spring snow, and we're gonna just enjoy it too while we can get it.
Well, there you go. Me, I'm over it. I'm done. Let's get on with it.
Everybody is. I see posts all the time on social media. My God, another snowstorm. Can't this winter get over with?
I know I come through the last one when I came out of Texas with this thing, and oh yeah. Oklahoma and Kansas, we were all having a good time. Clear up on the other side of Des Moines. After that, no problems.
You get on that 40, man. I tell you what, you get into some ice storms out there because it's in between, you know.
So, but is there anything else we were going to discuss tonight?
No, I think we pretty much covered what we need to cover in our time. We kind of went over our hour, so
well, then I'd like to remind everybody, Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, John will be on the big radio. That's right. John's on FM, along with Chris Wyatt and Todd McKinley on the Common Sense Conservative. And since I've been told the Witch's Brew is coming back, stay tuned.
Hey, you want to catch that. Chris was calling us crazy.
Well,
what are you gonna?
What are you gonna do? You can't please them all, John. You know.
I can try. That's all you can do.
You let me know how that works out for you, buddy.
I think you know how it's gonna go.
I know exactly how it's gonna go.
All right, so I guess that's our little bit for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you got a little something out of it. If you come in a little later, maybe you can go back and check the replay and stuff. And we did talk about some parking issues and what Pete Buttigieg may do or may not do as far as helping truckers get some parking done. And maybe we're going to have to contact some trade organizations and stuff and try to light a fire into their ass or something and get hold of Pete and manage to get things done because the tools are there. They're accessible to him if he chooses to do it. Otherwise, he's just blowing smoke like, most politicians and regulators do. So other than that, wish everybody well. If you can't be good, if you can't be good, then at least be good at it. We'll catch you next time.